Unscripted, unshackled, uncouth.
What you're about to hear is for more mature audiences only.
It's Miguel and Holly, Uncensored.
Hello and welcome to Miguel and Holly Uncensored. It is our off-air podcast that we do 3 times a week on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. We stream it live right around 10:30, which you can find it on the Miguel and Holly and the Hits 961 Facebook page and the Miguel and Holly YouTube channel. Don't forget, we have the Miguel and Holly fam/platypus posse Facebook group that you can hit up and join and have discussions about the show. And then we have other podcasts too. Just type in Miguel and Holly wherever you listen to podcasts, or of course on the iHeartRadio app. Holly, how are you doing? You're here in the studio. You're here in Charlotte.
Yeah, I'm in the CLT, Queen City. I love it.
You feel like a
love
queen?
it here.
Okay.
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I love hanging out. It feels like my soul is complete. When I'm actually here, and I feel like, oh, this is what I do. Like, you don't understand. Like, when you're the odd man out, like, I always feel part of the team, but sometimes I also feel like I'm just disconnected. Which I think is normal.
Right.
And it's not like I'm fine. Like, it's not a big deal. But like, when I'm here and like you can feel the energy, it just like you're more connected, and it just feels different, which is that's how it is.
Did you expect that when you signed on for the job?
I didn't know what to expect. I was because you can't know what it's going to be like until you get into it.
Right.
But I was so thankful that they hired me that I was like, I don't care, we're going to do it. Cause like, I just, I don't know if we've talked about this before, right? Like, I couldn't fully make the move, to Charlotte. I just simply could not. So it was either I leave the show, period,
Right.
or we do it this way. And so I was so thankful, and I am still to this day so thankful that I get to do it this way. And actually doing it this way is actually freaking cool.
Right.
Let me just put it out that way. But there's just obviously some downsides, and that's one of them, which is, I don't get to vibe with the two of you on the daily. And also Miguel's got to do so much shit by himself, and I feel this horrific guilt about that frequently.
Right.
So those are some downsides, but I'm just thankful that I can.
Yeah. Yeah. It's one of those situations where it's like, it's the new normal.
Yeah.
And it sucks because it's like, we did it one way for so long.
Yeah.
Which also I think makes us be able to do it, being in different cities a lot of the time.
I'm so glad that we had done it that way for so long, because I would not, like, think about if we had done the Miguel show with Mandy and Holly for 2 years in Panama City.
Right.
And then like you moved to Charlotte and I moved to Tampa, and then we had to do it the way we're doing it now.
Like, it wouldn't have lasted.
No foundation.
Work zero. It would not have worked.
Well, because we didn't have this rapport. Like, we've always had a rapport, but we've always worked with other people, in another, because it was like we were all like, I was a quarterback, but Mandy, Holly, and then even Jimmy, our producer at the time.
Yeah.
It was 4 of us on a show. And so we went from a 4-person show to just the 2 of us.
That was bumpy. We
And
didn't
then
know
it was,
we were doing.
we didn't. And then it was like, at that time, like, we went through so many changes because like our boss that hired us got fired a few months after we got hired. And we knew that the company didn't like us at that time. And like handling that by myself would have been too much, because then like we went through several producers. I mean, that was a turbulent time in 2015. And so doing that separately would have been hard. Whereas this has been like even the company said, we want to make this as easy as possible. So like when we started on day 1, they were like, do your show that you were doing in Tampa, but here. But obviously with the things that are changed. And so then we've, changed and morphed it, but they wanted us to be comfortable. Which was a lot. Whereas when we got to Tampa, they were like, I know what y'all did that got y'all great ratings, but we're going to have y'all literally reverse the script 100% on day 1.
Yeah, day 1, new show. Who this?
And I was like, huh? So
yeah.
There we go.
But anyway, so that's my little. That's just we were just talking about that beforehand, and this is what I said too. Like, I miss my Tampa setup though.
Holly said, "I miss a girl."
So you trade in your soul for your Tampa studio.
I mean, no, yeah, obviously, if I could be here, I would. But I miss my Tampa studio. Like, I just feel like a superstar in my Tampa studio.
Well, you know who else is a superstar? So Worker Stacy.
Hello. How are you guys?
Wonderful, Stacy.
Yeah.
How are you doing today, girl?
I'm just fine. You know how it is. I will never forget watching the transition behind the scenes of Holly trying to figure out what next with you, with what's going to happen.
Right.
And it's so cool to watch the before to now and to
Mm.
see where you've come with everything. It's just so neat.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's been a transition.
Yeah.
That, we all have to work a little bit extra harder to make sure that those connections are in place, because like Kelvin hasn't really gotten to like hang out with Holly a whole lot.
Right.
So making sure that we're attuned to that. Well, Miss Stacy Renee, it is officially spooky season.
No, I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Like, this is it, you guys. Like, we are in it. Are we ready to play?
Yes.
I love
Now, Stacy, like when it comes to pop culture, they're like, this is the time on All Hallows Eve with the spirits. It's like the veil is lifted and we're more connected to the other world. Is that true, or is that just BS?
Yes.
We're always connected. It's just more hyped up this time of year. It's almost more acceptable at this time of year. So, and yes, there is the All Hallows Eve, and, depending on what you believe in your spirituality with all of that stuff, yes, more portals are opened. And, there is that, as I was talking to somebody today, the living dead out and about. It's that time of year. You know what I mean? It's just, this is my favorite time of year, y'all. Like, it's just, it makes me so happy.
Do you get more spiritual contact this time of year, or does it not matter? That's
oddly enough, no. Do you want to know when I get the most spiritual contact?
Yes.
December.
Oh my God. I was going to say Christmas.
The holiday.
Yeah, holidays. It's legit December. So my own personal favorite month of the year is October, but that's always because every single relationship I have ever been in starts in October.
Oh.
My entire life. It's like, and even to this day, new beginnings will always start in October. It's the strangest thing in the whole world.
Well,
but as far as
connection.
the dead people thing and going one more up with my gifts and stuff, it always seems to be December is when the energy picks up 100 times more. It's crazy.
So the manifestation and energy it really has nothing to do with it.
Correct.
Portals are always just open.
Right. No. Right. They're always open. Yes.
That makes sense.
So it's exciting.
How do you celebrate spooky season, Stacy?
My entire house has been decked out. I may have black candles and skeletons and bats, and I'm about to put up flying candles down my hallway. Oh, I love Halloween. This is legit how I go. And I also love, and I was just putting out today, having group sessions. This is that time of year I love to go to people's houses and do group sessions. So instead of just doing the one-on-ones like I do on here, it's an entire group of people of 4 or more, up to 25 people. We sit in a room and I go from soul to soul. And I love it when it's family because, great Aunt Agatha came to visit. Or, it's so cool because, if somebody lost their mom and they have siblings with them, it's they get to have a reunion with their mom together as a family. Or it's cool. And I love to do it for Halloween time too. It's I do a lot of parties at Halloween time because people have Halloween parties. And this is that time to go sit and people walk up to me and go, okay, so what do you feel? What do you think? I love this time of year because people are also more in tune and more accepting of what I do at this time of year.
So if you were a drag queen, this would be your Pride Month.
Heck yeah, baby. Absolutely.
I get it. Booked and
Yes.
busy.
That makes sense.
Have you ever done a session where there were benevolent?
No. And
Why is there no way? Explain.
So
Hold on. No.
I know what you're trying to say.
Has there
said
been
no.
a time where there were bad spirits there that came?
Okay, just really quick. So benevolent is the word you were looking for, but it
Yes.
actually doesn't mean bad.
Is that the good stuff?
That's good.
Yeah,
It is
that's
the good stuff, yes.
Maybe you were looking for malevolent.
No, there was another word I can't think of.
Malicious?
Maybe malicious. That's what I was looking for. Malicious spirits. That's what I was looking
course.
for.
You got it. It's all good.
I was gonna say yes, and you know, there are those spirits that like to show up and like to throw things, or you know, I've been in certain sessions where they get pissed off.
Oh
Yeah.
no, I don't want to be there. I don't need a pissed off.
Do you remember that house I showed you and Miguel many moons ago of like the weird haunted house? It's like that,
Mhm.
but worse, where things will just like randomly start moving around, or lights will go off or on, or things will just fall off the countertops, or candles will just like go out. It really does exist. I can't watch horror movies without laughing at them because of the real life things I've seen. So
Wow. So when you have a malicious spirit like that, like what is it trying to do, and like why is it being so malicious?
it's a demon 90% of the time.
Absolutely not. I did not sign up for mother demons. Stacey.
Love you, but yes, they're demons.
And so, okay, so
What does that even mean? I don't.
is a demon like a fallen angel?
Yes.
Is it something from Satan? Is it
Yes,
an
it's
evil
all of it.
person?
Yeah, I mean, they can be fallen
hell?
angels, they can be from hell, all of that stuff. They're basically here to basic on a very basic level to completely cause chaos and anarchy. I mean, they're the ones like a lot of people believe that if you're like depressed, it's the demon attached to you.
Oh God! Now I got a demon attached to me, Stacey. What the hell?
I probably have one.
I know.
Probably
A
have
lot of people believe this. Like legit, a lot of people believe. I'll get phone calls and I'll have sessions of what's
Devil.
attached to me. You can get rid of them. That's why there's the holy water and the dragon's blood incense that we use, and you know, energy cleansing.
I need
Yeah.
to be drenched in holy water. Good Lord.
But sometimes too, the depression is simply just depression. You
Right.
know, but a lot of people do believe that sometimes demons can like get into your head. And I mean, it's very interesting. My whole thing is I personally believe in God, and I believe that there's nothing more powerful. So I kind of like, all right, Lord, protect me, use your light, and keep the good with the good and keep the bad away from me.
Right.
So yeah. And what's great though is I've moved and I don't have the activity that we had in the other house.
Oh, that's got to be
Nice.
peaceful.
It's wonderful. It's wonderful.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
Now, when you have faced one of these malicious demons, how do you rid yourself? So, like, if someone has a house that is being haunted, or maybe they feel like
A demonic presence.
right, like there's no reason why I should be depressed or sad or whatever. And obviously, there's a difference between mental health and this, but like, if you're trying to suss it out, like, how do you get rid of it?
Billy Badass, gotta fake it to make it. I mean, legit, I've gone to houses. I used to do this all the time before COVID. Before COVID, I would probably about 3 to 4 times a week go to different houses and get rid of whatever demonic evil stuff is in that house. And it would be, you know, going with candles and holy water and prayer and getting them out. Or sometimes I've gone in there and just had conversations with them. Why are you here? What do you need? What are you so upset with? Sometimes it's just they're confused about why people are living in their house. They don't know they're gone.
Right.
They just see these other souls here like, hello, why are you in my place? Get out. And they're freaking out. So there's a lot of conversations. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm interested in like exorcisms. Like I don't know if there's documentaries about them or not, but I feel like it's an occurrence that has happened, right? In like times and times again, but nobody has really said, what is it? What is an exorcism? Is it actually real? Is it a demon possession, or is it a mental health crisis that some people have said it is as well?
Yeah, I was gonna say that is something that I have sincerely have been wanting to talk to big time about this, because mental illness, you hear about people who have schizophrenia. When one of my kids was seeing a psychiatrist, they were like, well, does anybody have this in their family? And I'm like, well, so this is what I do. Oh, so you have schizophrenia. No, I talk to the dead. Well, prove to me that they're dead because I don't believe in what you do. So you've got to be hearing voices, which deems you to be mentally ill. And I'm like, no. Like, so it's definitely interesting to see who's what, where, when, what you're experiencing. Is it mental health? Is it a demon? Is it ghosts? You know what I mean? Because I always, and this is going to sound so interesting to most people, but I never just jump on that bandwagon of, oh, that person has schizophrenia. I always meets the eye. You know what I mean? Because you just don't know what they're really
Some
seeing.
people do, and maybe some people do not.
Correct.
Not that schizophrenia doesn't exist, because it
Correct.
does.
Yeah.
But also, what are we actually dealing with here?
Correct. And
Yeah.
and it's so quick to be dismissed off as mental illness, but what if these people really are being picked on? Or what if these people really are seeing these things that are there? How do we get rid of them? And that is when you can go and have an exorcism, and you can have people, and they are real. You
Yeah.
know, it is a very real thing to
Well,
get things away from you and off
it's
of
a
you.
legit sector within
Yes,
the Catholic Church.
absolutely.
They've had people out here studying things for years about what is this phenomenon? It's like scientists from the church that are there to disprove whatever it is until they can no longer disprove it, and they say, okay, this is legit.
Yeah.
That's why I'm always so curious when they have those types of movies where it's like based on a true story, the hidden footage of an exorcism, and it's the Pope or whatever, the priest going in to get him. Like we watched the one recently of Russell Crowe playing a priest who was like the exorcism priests who the Vatican would dispatch to wherever he needed to go for whatever.
Yeah.
And they said based on a true story. And I'm like, okay, so how much is that based on a true story? Was it just like they have someone, or is this true? Like, so I've always been so curious, like how, because they always make it seem like in movies, if you go into a house that has spirits in it, one could attach to you and then it would follow you around and you would take it back home.
Absolutely. That it is. And it's fascinating to me because there's so much where it's like art versus life that actually mimics life. There are so much of it that is real. You know, in churches, it even says in the Bible, there's parts of the Bible where there's gifts of discernment to be able to feel demons and whatnot. There's actual gifts out there. I have them. And there's other gifts even marked in the Bible where there are people chosen to go and rid of demons and the possessed. You know, it was Mary Magdalene. Yes. Wasn't she possessed before she was healed? If I'm corrected.
I don't have enough.
I was going to say, I don't have enough. You know what I'm saying?
I think you're on the right track. I want to say yes, but then I go through all the other Mary Magdalene stuff.
I know that's what's going on in my head. Yes.
Anyway, yes, I want to say yes. I think
yes, roughly. If anybody else knows that, I want to follow up on that. But to my best recollection, she was possessed, and that was part of Jesus's healing on her, was to take that possession away from her. So it's very fascinating when, like, my brother can see demons, and that was his thing. And so he went straight to the church. Now, I went to a Pentecostal church for a very long time, and they wouldn't say, oh, we're going to go ahead and get rid of this. It's called laying hands. And a group of people would lay hands and pray, and you could feel the energy or whatever is attached to that person come off of them and go away. So it's very fascinating. Very
What
fascinating.
does a demon look like? Does it look like, in the movies where it's like either like a dark shadow or it's like a red figure with horns or something like that?
Yes. When my daughter Emily, she used to see them a lot. when she was growing up, and the boys have seen them, and they all describe them as like animalistic. They've all described the same thing to me without talking about what they've seen, if that makes any sense. So it's like I'll talk to like my youngest son on the side about something, and he'll describe it to me the same way my oldest son described it, and the way my daughters have described it. So it's interesting because they have learned to just say, nope, go away. We don't have time for you. And you can do that. You're powerful enough. I mean, nothing can hold you hostage.
Right.
You have to have enough bravery and strength to go, no, we're not doing this today. You don't own me. You go away. And you can make it go away.
Wow. That is fascinating to me. It's just really
Okay.
like you hope when you watch those movies that it's not real, and you're like, okay, well, this is just a work of fiction. Like, I can't believe that this is actually true. And then when you hear someone who, we've seen your talents and we've seen what you can do, say that this, there is some truth there, it's like, well, damn it, now I'm scared.
But the second you become scared, the second you become vulnerable to that is the second you become vulnerable to everything. And the minute that you understand that nothing can affect you if you don't allow it to. I'll stay away from those movies because I'm super sensitive to stuff like that. And I don't need my brain going down the rabbit hole of doubt. So I stay away from it, because if I start doubting it, then that's going to weaken me when I do need to deal with it, if that makes any sense.
My mom would tell me something similar to that.
Yeah.
Like, the more you think about it, the more likely
Don't
you're going
invite
to
it
see
in.
it.
Don't invite it in. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want, well, as y'all know, I definitely do not do demons or any of that stuff. And it started in 2005 after I went on a date to watch The Exorcism of Emily Rose. That was it. I had a horrific 2 weeks after that.
Good
and
Lord.
I moved, actually, in part because I was like, my lease is coming up. Do I want to stay? Do I want to leave? And then I watched that movie, and I don't know what happened, but like I had
Emily Rose.
It was terrible. Like I couldn't get the images out of my brain. It was like with me the whole time. I would wake up and I would have like that lucid dreaming where you can't move. And I would like dream / feel like people were sitting on the bed with me and drugging me and making it so I couldn't move. And then I thought there were like faces pressing out from my bedroom wall that my bed was up against. Like, it was so horrifying for me for that entire week after I saw the movie. And that's what I was like, I'm moving out of this place. Nope. And it was just so, and for weeks, months, even a little bit of like years after that movie, I couldn't get it out of my brain. And I was like, never again. I'm not doing this. Why would I do this to myself?
Right.
And I did end up moving to a different apartment. And after that, I have not watched any like demon, exorcism, possession type movie. I mean, Miguel got really into Paranormal Activity.
Yeah.
When I first met him, I refused.
Yeah.
Didn't see any of them.
That was a time.
It was. I didn't see them.
That stayed with me. Like Paranormal Activity, that first one, like I remember, because like usually like I love scary movies and they'll stay with me for like a day or two. Like Monday's podcast, I was talking about the Alien movie I watched on Sunday. By Tuesday, I was fine. Paranormal Activity, it was months.
I see it.
Where anytime something would move or I would feel something, I'd be like, this is it. Demons gonna come and get me, girl. This is what done. Bye.
I was like, y'all do it to yourself. You gotta find a movie.
Such a creepy movie.
I assume it was because I made a bunch of them. But like that, and one time Miguel, this was when Miguel and I were living together, and I think it was The Conjuring.
Yeah.
Where Miguel and my then boyfriend, who would go on to be my fiance and then husband and now ex-husband, they wanted to see The Conjuring. And so they were in the living room and I was like, I hate y'all. This is a small ass apartment. So I I'm trying to go in my room. And then I had to like walk to the kitchen and I glanced at the screen and I saw that thing coming out of that kid's mouth. And I was like, damn it! Hate y'all! And then for like like the whole week after that, I would be driving to work and I would get this feeling that there was like a dead kid sitting in the back of my backseat car, and I'd be like, ah! So I was like, I didn't even watch that movie. I just saw itty bits of it because they were watching it, and so I don't do it. I don't do those anymore, and that's how I like to live my life. Period.
I love it.
So anyway, that's the end of that story.
I'm curious, for those of you that are watching here on Facebook and on YouTube, what's your favorite scary movie? Not like the cutesy Hocus Pocus,
like
you know,
actually scary
but like
movie.
what is the scariest movie that you enjoy watching?
That I actually have one that I do enjoy watching, and it weirdly enough does have to do with this. But I feel like there's two of them, and they both have what I consider to be like satisfying endings. So the first one is called, what's it called? It's that M. Night Shyamalan movie. I think it's like, I think it's called Devil,
Which
where
one
they're
is
in
it?
the elevator and the whole movie takes place in the elevator.
Yes, I did see that one.
Mm-hmm.
It's short.
Mm.
It was scary when I saw it, but I've since watched it again because I
That was
felt
a good one.
like it was just, I don't know, it just worked out in my head. So that's weird. But also I don't mind Stigmata. And that one came out in like 1999, and I saw it then too, and it was stressful because it's about a possession, but also again, good outcome, and I felt like it made sense. It was just in the end, like it wasn't. I don't know. So take that for what it's worth. But those, if you want to go down that route, those are two that I'm like, okay, I got that.
Kelvin?
I like a good serial killer. Like I like somebody that when there's a chase and there's a fight scene. So I like there's only specific Halloween movies that I really like. Obviously the original. Halloween 20 was good. Doesn't get enough attention as it should. And then
Yeah, I'll do slasher movies. I like those.
Yeah, a good slasher. And then Halloween 40 years later. I feel like those three are pretty solid horror movies. But also Sinister was an incredibly creepy movie. And it actually got not voted on, but I think people did a study where they try to measure everyone's heart rate with specific movies, and they said that one was the one that made people's heart rate go so fast. So they deemed it as the scariest movie of all time. I don't think it is. So Sinister. I think it has to do with a guy going into some haunted house, or maybe he moves into it. He finds some
slides.
Yes,
it's
some
Ethan
old
Hawke.
slides.
Yes, that's a good one.
Terrifying.
Even
and I'm pretty sure Sinister 2 was just as scary.
Cindy said, yes, Sinister is another great movie.
Oh my gosh.
So Worker Stacy, do you watch scary movies at all?
No, I'll just do The Sixth Sense. Yeah, no, we're good.
We're good. Which makes sense. Which does make sense for you. Yes.
Yeah.
She's like, not today.
No.
To me, one of my favorite ones, because to me, like demons, aliens, like I can, if I need to, like if I'm scared, I can be like, okay, it's not real. It's not real. It's make believe that came from someone's head. To me, it's when it's like based in truth. That's what freaks me out. So The Strangers, where it's about,
was a really that's not, to me, that's like suspenseful.
No, to me that is
scary,
terrifying, because it is just random people based on a true story that just decide we want to kill people.
Yeah, I saw that in the theater. It was so scary.
Yeah, like to me, those are the type of movies that freak me out, because like you can't, like when you're dealing with that type of evil.
Yeah. The lack of humanity and the lack of empathy is just, it's shocking. Because because we're gentle human beings. Like, you know, we have empathy and we care about others, and it's almost too much to ask to try to think of another human being that is so violent in that way.
Right.
And yeah, you're right. That stresses me out, which is also why I feel like you loved this, but I didn't really want to watch the Jeffrey Dahmer series, because I was like, I know what happened. I don't need to feel what happened. I don't think that's helpful for the victims' families or for me to get a better grasp on what he did. It was too much, I think.
Well, to me, I think the reason why I like this Jeffrey Dahmer series particularly is because they showed a whole nother side of it that I didn't even realize when it comes to Black women are not believed,
Mhm.
how gay people are not believed, and how he got away with it for so long because his neighbor, who was a Black woman played by Niecy Nash in that movie, she heard it happening and she saw somebody escaping and they were like, okay. And then here comes the white serial killer being like, oh, we're just, whatever.
Yeah.
And it was like, to me, that was like living proof because that's a part of the story that never gets told.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that's why I thought that part of it was super fascinating that they told that whole nother side of it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Anybody else have any scary movies?
I'm trying to think now. Scary movie. I do like Kelvin. I do like the slasher ones. I think those are good. Because to me, that's just like, it's just jump scares.
Mhm.
But I also really I feel like people really hate on M. Night Shyamalan. And I really love his movies.
Same.
Even the ones that people make fun of or hate or whatever. I think he's such a powerful storyteller and such a craftsman at like what he does. And even the one, like, what was that one where the trees are out to get you or whatever?
The Happening.
The Happening. And everybody critically and audience wide panned it. I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it. I think the only one that I didn't care for that much was like The Lady in the Water, but I don't remember it.
I even like that one, even though like it was a little hard to follow at first.
I think I never made it to the end because I got tired or something. But like, and I especially like the that trilogy that he kind of did that was kind of superhero, kind of realistic, like mental health, where it was that man Split.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
It's so good. And I mean, what's his face? James McAvoy did an incredible performance and the story was so good. So I give M. Night Shyamalan, and to this day, Signs is one of my favorite scary movies. Like I don't think I would, if I was in like a Halloweeny mood, I would just put that one on because it's so good.
Well, leave your recommendations in the comments for scary movies. So if you're like, ooh, I need a list of things to watch, you can go to the Miguel and Holly Facebook page or YouTube channel and see in the comments on what people left behind as theirs. But let's play a quick round of Would You Rather? Would you rather? All right, we're going to go real fast with this one. All right, Stacy, you ready to play?
Give it to me.
Would you rather never get another present in your life, but always pick the perfect present for everyone else? Or keep getting presents, but giving terrible ones to everyone else?
Ew, no. I'd rather not get a present again and give good to everybody else.
Kelvin?
I think the same. Yeah. My favorite thing is to give something so personal and be good at it. But there's that stress of like giving somebody a really crappy gift, and there's that anxiety and regret, even though everybody says, oh, you didn't have to, or oh, it's not that serious, but it is serious.
It is.
Yeah. I'm the same. I would rather never ever get anything ever again if I could trade it for the power of not having to stress out, because I just get too stressed out. But I would love to be a great gift giver.
I want presents.
Yeah.
I want gifts. I want nice gifts.
Okay, Leo.
I want them all.
You ever took the love language test? Is giving gifts up there for you, or getting gifts up there? For
I
you?
want them.
Your Leo is showing there, Miguel.
Yeah. Well, I also think too, a part of it as an adult, and I think this is why, as I've gotten older, I probably spend way too much money, is because I didn't have a lot of things and I wasn't able to get a lot of things growing up. We didn't get a lot of gifts.
Yes.
And so I think that's why, like, now whenever I do order something, it's like reliving that childhood of like, ooh, this is what everyone else got to do. How fun. I get to open this gift, even though I know what it is.
Yeah.
So I want gifts.
I love it.
Would you rather sleep in a doghouse or let stray dogs sleep in your bed?
Can I wash the stray dogs?
Nope.
Bitch.
They're just going to be climbing up in your window,
Snatching
your people up.
Well, I'm going to go. Absolutely nothing like that in my bed. Absolutely not ever. I will go in a doghouse. I'm assuming the dog's not there, or even if the dog is there, like, what's the point? But like, I'm assuming the dog's not in the doghouse. I'll sleep in it.
There's some pretty big ones.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, you get those rich people ones where it's like
it looks like a mini version of their house.
literally. Yes, it's probably like half the size of any house that we could ever think about buying.
Yeah.
And they're like, my dog lives so great. They eat caviar.
Yeah, no, I'll stay in that doghouse. I'll even stay in the Lady and the Tramp doghouse. I don't care. I don't even want a dog of my own in my bed. No, that's my bed.
Stacy?
Yeah, no, I'll sleep in the doghouse. Yeah.
Yeah,
No
I
dog
would.
in my bed.
It would be an uncomfortable sleep, and I probably wouldn't sleep. But I didn't want a dog. I mean, that's as Abe and I are talking about getting a dog.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of my non-negotiables. Is the dog cannot sleep in the bed.
But that's fair. That's
Yeah.
not like you don't like animals thing. Like that's fair.
Right.
Even people who love their dogs.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Like Kelvin, do you let Jimbo, your dog, sleep in your bed?
I prefer not to.
But-
But Oscar really loves to cuddle with him, and my favorite kind of like Jimbo is at 9 p.m. Lazy, wants to cuddle, sweet, not jumping, not being crazy. That is when I like Jimbo. But I tell him all the time, has to be after a shower.
Mhm.
Has to be after a shower, and then we're good. My old dog, Benji, he was a tiny little 20-pound, cute little fur ball all the time. Every single time, whenever. Like, I love that dog so much. Not that I don't love Jimbo, but Jimbo's just too much. Like, I
Right.
get cold in the middle of the night, and he's 70 pounds. So I'm freezing, and I can't, it's mean to be like, give me the fucking comforter. And so I prefer not to because of his size.
Oof. I can't
Yeah.
imagine.
Yeah.
Stacy, you don't have a dog. You have cats, right?
I do have a dog.
That's right.
I have a
Remember.
beagle named Sven, and he is not allowed to sleep in my bed. He can go sleep with my boys, but he is not sleeping in my bed.
Got it.
Yeah.
And the cats are lucky they even get in my room.
I just
Man,
Cats are annoying.
Cats are they don't give an F.
No.
I had it when I first got the cat. Isn't there a movie or something or a book called like That Darn Cat? I literally thought that in my head millions of times a day when I first brought the cat home. I was like, this damn cat.
Why do
Except
I-
I said,
I wish that was like a sitcom where it was like that darn cat.
I feel like it was like, and it was weird because like I'm like absolutely not a cat in my room, and so I'd close the bedroom door. But since they're night people, cat would be at the door like, and I was like, bitch, what do you think you're doing? And so then I couldn't sleep because pawing, and they don't get tired. They're just like,
No.
I'm gonna keep pawing. So finally, then I let the cat in, and then I was like, I don't want to get scared by the cat because what if I fall asleep and then I wake up and his eyeballs are right here?
No, it'll jump on you. Yes.
So cats are difficult.
Like, because I was thinking, I mean, like I've pretty much made the concession that like the dog will, whenever we do get a dog in the new year, it will be on the couch, which is like, okay, I'm gonna
allowing it.
Put a little blankie.
well, they have like their one spot.
Yeah.
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 You have to train it really well though.
And put
to
a treat
know.
under the blanket so it knows that smell.
Yes.
Oh.
Like
You
Sven
did
has
it.
a spot on the couch with his blanket that he knows is his place.
Yeah. Dogs are like kids. You got to give them boundaries. You got to give them parameters.
Right.
Like they thrive with that kind of structure.
Consistency is everything.
Yes, and I didn't realize that when I got Nala back in.
I was gonna say, I guess because my only really experience with it, like my mom had a dog when I was younger, but I don't really remember. And the dog, it was a Shih Tzu, and like it was scared of everything.
Oh.
And so it didn't get on the couch. It didn't do anything. But like I remember when we lived together, Holly, with your ex-husband, and like when we lived in that one house where there was a lake in the back, and Nala would go out, and then she loved to perch on top of the back of the couch.
Yes, because she's like on the lookout.
Right, but then there would be sand there,
I know.
and I would sit, and it would just infuriate me. And I was like, this is not my dog. And this is by the time like y'all were about to get married, and you were married after that.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I can't be like, get this motherfucking dog with motherfucking sand off
And
this motherfucking
You
couch.
know what sucked too is like, first of all, I didn't know anything about dogs, had never had one. And he was like, oh, I have it because he's had dogs his whole life. I'm like, oh, he's going to do it.
Right.
We didn't. And I didn't know what to do. And that was before I was any part of aware of myself. No knowledge about myself, no realizing, what I needed to work through in therapy. Didn't know that I was codependent, a people pleaser, afraid to say what I want. And so I literally deferred even to the dog. Like I was like, well, what I want doesn't matter. The dog needs to be happy. Like, thank God for therapy and self-realization. But like, so it was a big old mess. And that's not what dogs need, by the way.
No, because I'm like,
you to like let them do what they want to do. Like they get confused too. They're like, who's in charge? Me? Must be me. Yeah.
Not in Miguel and Abe's house, girl. There is a new sheriff in town, bitch.
When are you gonna get one?
When we move into the new place, because we're debating if we're gonna rent a house or rent an apartment. But our lease is up in February, so I said once we move into a new place that's not a high rise.
Yeah.
Because I'm not walking a dog going down all those elevators and then outside. And I'm like, because I know that when we get a dog, like I leave early and the dog, especially the first few weeks, it's going to wake up when they hear me get up and move around and get in the shower and stuff. And so whatever that training process is, it's much easier if we have a house or something where we can just like let the dog outside or whatever, instead of getting on the elevator, doing all that stuff.
I know.
You go through that.
Yes, I love living. I don't love living on the first floor of where I'm at right now, but it's temporary. We're waiting for our 4th floor apartment to open up. But I now realize that I have to wake up even earlier, because I do have to go down an elevator, make sure he's good, then go back up, then set him up. That
sounds like a lot.
Yeah.
All right, last. Would you rather talk like Yoda, or breathe like Darth Vader?
Oh, Yoda. 100% Yoda.
You want to talk like Yoda?
Talk like Yoda, you do.
Listen here, my young Jedi.
You're not doing it.
I am Yoda.
No.
Yoda's had one too many things to smoke.
My young little protege.
You're not even
She's not even
doing
doing it right.
it.
The mix up the words.
How you do, Yoda?
Talk like Yoda, you must.
I already breathe like Darth Vader. So different.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Yoda. I would pick Yoda because I'm not trying to go through life breathing down people's necks like that. What if you're in a movie theater?
I already get embarrassed whenever whatever I do, and I get so mad. I like have to hold my breath when I do Instagram videos where I'm talking on my story because I breathe so loudly and you can hear it sometimes.
Yes, that would happen to me.
Right. And like I'll just be like, hey Holly, what are you doing today? And you just hear me as Holly's answering. And I'll be like, God damn it. So I'll be like, Holly, what are you doing? That's funny, girl.
At least you're aware of it, though.
But then they'll be like sometimes, because we've told you, we've been very transparent. We record blown off, and so sometimes if we're just listening to them tell like what's happening, and I'm just not radio brain. I'm just as a human listening to what's happening.
Yeah.
And then as we're editing it, and especially when these new studios, these mics are way more powerful we've ever had, and so even if I'm like a little bit back, you can still hear in the background.
Do you ever hear me?
No, it's always me.
Okay.
And so Kelvin edits blown off after we record it. And then I usually go back and listen afterwards just to like see if there was anything that was missed that we could clean up. And I'll put my headphones on and I can just hear, and they'll be like, how dare you? You didn't call me back. And I'm like, God, it's Miguel.
Just maybe back up a little bit.
It just,
yeah.
That's crazy, girl.
You don't have to be all up in it. Breathing.
Become a mouth breather.
Yeah. There was a man mouth breathing bad until he started snoring in back of me in the plane this week.
Oh no.
Like, he was straight up snoring, and the woman next to me was like, I would nudge him. And I just felt bad because like he can't help it. And that was the people that were married, but I was sitting in between them. So I was like, girl, you don't got room to judge right now. You're not even sitting next to us.
That's how I sound like.
So two takeaways. When you listen to Blown Off, listen with like your AirPods in and you'll hear me breathing loudly.
Oh no.
And when you watch my Instagram stories, like if I'm talking, just listen to me go.
Now I'm going to be on the lookout.
Stacy, how can people book a session with you if they want to have a spooky season group session?
Visit my website, soulworkerstacyrenee.com. And if you're interested in the group sessions, DM me on my Instagram at soulworkerstacyrenee.
Producer Kelvin, how can people get into contact with you?
At Kelvin Live, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram.
Holly O'Connor.
Radio Holly, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram. I do have like a Facebook page, but that's O'Connor.Holly. So check that out there.
Mine is Miguel Fuller. You can find me on TikTok. Be Real if you're on Peloton. I'm on there as well. And you can find me also at facebook.com/Radio Miguel. All right. Stacy, have a great weekend. Happy spooky season. Bye.
Miguel and Holly Uncensored.
Catch it on the iHeartRadio app.